Our team has you covered tonight from southern Minnesota to the Twin Cities and western Wisconsin. We are also live with both presidential campaigns in Washington, D.C. and Florida. But we want to begin in our nation's capital. That's where Caroline Cummings is live for us.
Well, good evening to you both. So I'm at Howard University, kind of at the center of campus. People are just starting to file in behind me. You can see the stage is set for Vice President Kamala Harris and Governor Tim Walz to make their debut to their supporters and their campaign staff here at Howard University, of course, where Harris went to school. It's her alma mater, and it's at HBCU that is just 2 miles from the White House. That, of course, those two hope that they will get there when this is all over. Now, there is some kind of significance here, too, with it being a college campus. Not only did Harris go here, but college voters, young voters, are a key voting bloc for Democrats. And the campaign says that they're feeling good about the turnout that they are seeing in key states. So Pennsylvania, for example, the Keystone State that might be the key to this election. There has been polling lines for some polling places at places like Lehigh University, a school there, that have been quite long, 7 hours long, the campaign has told me. So they are feeling good about that. And there's a lot of college kids here, of course, who are really excited about Harris and Walz being here. And for Walz, the campaign hasn't stopped for him today. I'm told that he has been calling into radio stations in battleground states, trying to make that last pitch to voters before those polls close here. Some, like you said, some states, their polls have already closed. Others, it is nearing that time. So we will be here as we wait for the Vice President and Governor Tim Walz as they may begin to learn whether Americans have sent them to the White House, and for Walz, whether he will be the third Vice President to come from Minnesota. Jeff and Aaron.
A big night for that reason for Minnesota. We appreciate the live report. Thanks so much, Caroline. Well, control of the Minnesota legislature is up for grabs this election.
Democrats currently have the trifecta controlling the governor's office, the Senate, and the House. They only hold a razor-thin one-seat majority in the Senate. Democrats are hoping to also hold control of the Minnesota House. All 134 seats are up for re-election. Republicans will need to flip 4 seats to take control.
Jonah Kaplan is live at the Minnesota DFL watch party for us in St. Paul.
Aaron and Jeff, you really can't undersell the significance of that trifecta, as you mentioned. It was the first time in 30 years that the Democrats had control, both chambers of that legislature, plus the governorship. You could talk to Democrats here, and you certainly could talk to Republicans who will say elections have consequences. You look at that laundry list of agenda items that the Democratic-led Assembly was able to pass through. All kinds of things, whether it was sick leave, whether it was marijuana, whether it was all kinds of family leave as well. All the legislative priorities they were able to get through. Governor Tim Walz will not be here tonight. He's at Howard University. But we will have other prominent Minnesota lawmakers, starting with Senator Amy Klobuchar, the senior senator. And, of course, she's the first woman to serve as senator in Minnesota. She's seeking her 4th 6-year term, first elected in 2006. Also expected here tonight, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar on the ballot for a 4th time as well. We caught up just a little while ago with Party Chair Ken Martin, who said Democrats in Minnesota really wanted to lean into more positive messaging on the campaign, and they're confident it's going to pay off.
We've actually pivoted quite a bit of our messaging this year was, who we are, what we're trying to do, and what we're trying to accomplish in people's lives. And so I think hopefully that's a good lesson for other people to learn too in politics, so we can get that corrosive toxicity out of politics and get back to a debate on the issues.
And it's been not since the 1970s since Minnesota has gone red, voting for Republican in the presidential race. So a lot of confidence here going into tonight, but also cautious optimism. And coming up later, we're going to check in about that one singular Minnesota Senate race that will determine the balance of power in that chamber. And again, could it lead to gridlock in St. Paul, compromise, or the Democrats again going to have their way? Aaron and Jeff?
Jonah, thank you so much. Now, as the polls close on the East Coast, we'll begin getting early projected winners.
In the last few minutes, actually, we have some results for you. CBS News has projected Kamala Harris has won in Vermont. And we know Vermont has 3 electoral college delegates. And we also can tell you that Donald Trump is the projected winner of Kentucky. That is a first big win for the Republican Party. Again, Kamala Harris winning in Vermont, and the former president, Donald Trump, CBS News projects that he wins the state of Kentucky. So some early results here. We know that polls just closed in about 6 states across the country. So we're going to start to get some of those results.
And they might not all come that fast, but they will be happening over the next couple of hours. Let's go to Derek James. He's live at the Minnesota GOP headquarters in Bloomington. I wonder if voters, people there, even know that Kentucky is already being called for former President Trump.
They probably don't, Jeff, only because they're still putting some of the screens up here because the party here doesn't start officially for another hour, so there's still some last-minute prep going on. My colleague Jonah, who was with the DFL party, mentioned the presidential race and the fact that a Republican candidate has not won this state since 1972, but it got very close in 2016. I believe the margin was 1.5 points, and there's some hope within the Republican Party that tonight could be more like 2016 than 2020. I want to bring in David Hand. He's the GOP chair. Let's talk about that top of the ticket race. Do you feel like the pundits and some of the polls may have gotten that wrong?
Well, I think we've seen in recent years the polls are very rarely get it completely right, and even when 2016, I think they had Trump much further down than what it turned out to be. So right now, the most recent polls I've seen show about a 2%, well within the margin of error. We think that Trump will outperform the polls, and as I said many times, I'm not going to be surprised when he carries Minnesota.
So that's a big statement. That will obviously, if that happens, any really good performance will affect those down ballot races. So let's talk about some of the races that you're watching closely, like CD2.
Well, CD2, of course, is the most heavily contested congressional district race that we have, and we've got a great candidate, Joe Robb. We think he's got a great chance to take that seat for Republicans. Right now, there's 4 Republican seats and 4 Democrat seats. Very, very evenly divided state. We're very evenly divided politically, but we think Joe Robb's got a great chance to win CD2, and we're going to be watching that closely. We're also watching closely the 3rd congressional race, where Tad Jude, great campaigner, is campaigning against a first-time candidate for Congress and not an incumbent. So we're looking at that one too.
One thing that we'll be talking about over the course of the night and probably the days ahead is the Minnesota House of Representatives. Only need to flip 4 seats. How are you feeling about that with a number of options?
Well, we're feeling good at this point. Of course, we have to wait till the polls close. We've still got a couple hours on that, but I've been talking to our campaign, working with those seats across the state. They feel that things are moving our direction, lots of enthusiasm. We've seen a lot of activity among independent voters coming our way. I think there's just a lot of concern about the excesses that the Democrats moved in Minnesota in the last couple of years, and people are wanting to see a change, and we think that's going to happen tonight. We'll see. We think we're going to see a Republican victory in the House.
What have you done for ground game at the ground level to try to get as many Republicans out as possible? I know you were happy with what you saw in the GOP early voter turn.
Well, we've been working at this for the last couple of years, really. We saw in the 2022 election that we had a lot of voters that we thought were Republican voters that, for whatever reason, just did not show up at the polls. So we wanted to do more to try to connect with those voters early on, which we have been doing in the last 18 months, try to find out what it's going to take to get them to get into the polls. We put a big emphasis on early voting, which traditionally Republicans have not done as much as Democrats, but this year there's been a huge focus on that, and we're very encouraged by the number of early voters we've seen. Typically on Election Day, Republicans turn out in great numbers, so we think those things combined are going to help us win.
Right. David, thank you. We, of course, will be talking to some of those voters as we get further on into the evening and folks come into the main ballroom here. And, of course, we'll also talk to some of those politicians that will also be here and possibly taking to that podium later tonight. Jeff and Aaron?
All right. Thank you, Derek. A lot happening in just a few minutes since we first saw from Derek. In just the last few moments, CBS has projected another win for Donald Trump, the state of Indiana. That's in addition to Kentucky, which they called at the top of the hour, and that's how you're getting those numbers in the bottom corner of your screen. 19 electoral votes for Trump to 3 for Kamala Harris, 3 coming from Vermont.